the HOD of Heritage and Knowledge. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Dumelang. Thanks for being here. Of course, this is a great event. This is an event that is organic, an event that really grounds us as Africans, an event that says to us, this is the destiny you are heading to as Africans. And I'm glad that this event is being graced by you scholars, because heritage, honestly, my colleague here will attest to this, that heritage, we as the elders, if I may use the word, have gotten kind of confused as far as heritage is concerned. I think it's high time we pass on the baton to you guys to really, lead us as to what heritage is. Because my thinking of heritage is that heritage is stagnant. And I'm being told by the youth that no. Heritage is not stagnant. Heritage is very innovative. We're living in changing times, and heritage it has to be innovative. So you know it better, and it's you who have really to lead us on the debate of heritage. As a country, I don't think we've really cemented our place in terms of heritage. I would cite one or two examples. For instance, the Kruger National Park. There's a huge debate now. It's being renamed Skukuza. Then you ask yourself, if you're talking Kruger National Park, the animals that there, the flora and fauna that is there, that is our heritage as an African children. But you having 30 years down the line is only now that someone has thought, let's rename it Skukuza. You see now from Kruger Park. So it is things like that I think we as the elders have missed. And now it is the opportunity, your opportunity, to grab it with both hands, to really engage and indulge in a debate on heritage and tell us what heritage is, what your views are on heritage. And as Freedom Park, we, and on behalf of the CEO was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, she has some other commitments. I exchanged some emails with her on Friday, and she said, unfortunately, she won't be here. This event was supposed to have taken place, I think, last week. She was ready, but this week, unfortunately, she's committed somewhere. So on behalf of the CEO and the Freedom Park family, we are saying welcome to Freedom Park and enjoy every moment. But particularly you guys, really feel free. Be open about what you think heritage is and how would we move forward in advancing the principles of Ubuntu as embedded in heritage, the principles of what we call social cohesion as embedded in heritage, and the principles, by the way, of what we call reconciliation also embedded in heritage, because heritage is very multidimensional. Thanks very much, Program Director. Yes.
So, like Dr. Zeka said, we are going to be just diving into heritage. What does it mean to us? What is it? How do we keep it moving? How does it change, right? But I'd like to welcome everyone. I know we have people from Pretoria Central High School. We have students from the University of Pretoria and University of Venda, right? And obviously some staff members from Freedom Park. And just in case no one knows, but Freedom Park is a heritage destination. That's exactly what it is. It's a place to preserve and enrich us from knowing our past, but also knowing how our future will be changed because of our past, right? How everything plays a role together, right? So, but before we start and go deep and talk, we're going to have a beautiful icebreaker from Kopano. May you please welcome her.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lobola, storyteller here at Freedom Park, and I'm not with my colleague. Good morning, my name is My name is Tadi, but just a little exercise to get our mind fresh. The conversation is deep, it's heritage. What is it? Even heritage in some of our languages, maybe we don't even know. That's something that, as young people, we should also start to think about, Gale heritage. But just before we get too serious, just a little energizer, get the blood flowing, get the mind. So relax, so you're not scared. We're in this room, there's these people, elders, they're talking about heritage, what is going on, I guess. So just a little thing, if you get yourself free, I'll also free myself. My voice is audible, right? No? Oh, okay. So what we're going to do is play a little game. Because now I'm a storyteller at a museum. Most of the time I'm interacting Likopano and students, learners, and children. Today we're not going to tell stories, we're just going to play a little game that's going to also help you with mind exercise, right? So it goes a little something like this. There was a bird.
There was a bird.
Yeah, you'll need your hands to be free. There can't be
So make
anything.
sure you don't have your
Yeah.
books. Just put it on the
can
floor,
put
your bags,
and
your
stand.
pens. Just make sure your hands are free.
Yeah. There was a bird
There was a bird
on a nest,
on a nest,
and the nest
and the nest
on a branch,
on a branch,
and the branch
and the branch
on a tree,
on a tree,
and the tree
and the tree
on a hill,
on the hill,
and the hill
and the hill
on the ground.
on the ground.
But the ground was never seen.
But the ground was people are not saying the words.
You got it?
I'm gonna come
There
and make
was a
sure that
bird
people
on
are
a nest, and the nest
On
on
a-
a branch, and the branch on a tree, and
and
the
the
tree
tree
on a hill, and the hill,
on the ground.
but the ground was never seen. Yeah? So we're going to do that. I don't know how to work this technology. We're going to do that 2 times, very fast. On the 3rd time, we're going to remove 1 word at a time, right? So after that, we're going to go, there was a on a nest. You guess? And then there was a on a and a on a branch, and we'll continue like that. Yes. All right, let's go. There was a bird on a nest, and the nest
on a branch, and a branch on a tree, and the tree on the hill, and the hill on the ground, but the ground was never seen. There was a bird on a nest, and the nest on a branch, and a branch on a tree, and the tree on the hill, and the hill on the ground, but the ground was never seen. There was a on a nest, and a nest on a branch, branch on a tree, and a tree on the hill, and a
Hill on the ground. That was never seen.
on a and a and a branch on a tree, and a tree on the hill, and a hill on the ground, but the ground was never seen. And on the tree, and the tree on the hill, and the hill on the ground, but the ground was never seen. There was a on a and a on a and a on a and a on a hill, and the hill on the ground, but again there was a on a and a on a and a on a and a on a and a on the ground, but the ground. Last time on a and a on a and a on a and a on a and a on the ground is never. Yes, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is everybody nice and warm? Guys, yes, is everyone sweaty a little bit? Lovely. So guys, let us just dive right into it, okay? So there's another mic here, which I'll be passing around because, okay, cool, awesome stuff. So, I'm gonna keep it here. So, thank you. Can you please give Tandi and Kupano a beautiful round of applause for that? Love, 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 love. All right, guys, so I just want to jump into it and know from the younger youth to people in university, what does heritage? We can't even start anything by first allowing ourselves, what does it mean to you? As the youth of South Africa today, what does heritage mean? And I just also want to allow openness, right? Yes, we're streaming live, but I think there's an honesty that needs to be always said with exactly how you feel, exactly what you think needs to be heard, right? So there's no right or wrong answer. It really just is a dialogue. We all here to hear ourselves speak and hear one another and see what we can learn and how we can move this conversation forward. Because I believe without heritage, how do you then know who you are? You know, how do you know who you are if you don't know where you come from? You know, and heritage plays that role. You know, we are here right now together because of many freedom fighters that fought for us to be able to be sitting like this in a diverse place, right? Being able to be free, really, right? So, like I said, my first question is, whoever wants to go for it, raise up your hand, the mic will be sent to you. What does heritage mean to you, especially as a young South African? Anyone? If you don't pick up your hand, I'm going to choose you. All right, I would love to hear from Pretoria Central High School. All right, so anyone here who's looking, I'm going to choose you. I'm only choosing you because you have dreads and I have dreads, right? So, all right, what's your name, my darling? Tatejo. Awesome. Guys, please welcome Tatejo. Give her a round of applause. All right, so please tell us, what does heritage mean to you? Yeah, stand up for us, please.
I feel like heritage is not about artificial things. It's not about the museum. It brings people together. It unites us together. It's not about the beads, the clothes. Honestly, the clothes could just sit there if there were no people. I believe it unites us as South Africans to come together and to celebrate our cultures and what our ancestors fought for was to be free.
Beautiful, beautiful. Anyone else? So I'm just going to try to also just hear you guys by repeating in my own words, just so that we all make sure we understood, right? And basically what I heard is, it's like you said, it's not the tangible things. It's about the history and the unity that builds us and connects us together. So it's more of the human experience and not just, clothes like you said, because without the people, it really does mean nothing, right? All right, beautiful. So I saw a hand up there.
Okay, good morning, everyone. That's my thing. My name is David from the University of Pretoria. So, in a nutshell, heritage is something that, can you all hear me?
Yes.
It's something that we inherit from the past generation, and hence we are the current generation. We are protecting it and preserving it for the future generation. So, yeah, I just wanted to put it in a nutshell. So it just incorporates both intangible and intangible stuff just to be preserved for the future generation. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, again, what you're saying is heritage is our past. And our past that defines who we are, right? It needs to be preserved for the next generation, moving forward, right? I want to know, and it might sound honestly just like a silly question, but why should it be preserved? Um, it sounds like an obvious answer, right? No, but why? If it's the past and we're in a place where we're in the future, what difference does it make towards us right now? If it needs to be preserved, what difference does it make now? How does it play a role today? And that can be from any direction, by the way. All right. Can anyone say something there? All right.
Thank you, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to weigh in with respect to the input made by the previous speaker. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Because you're saying it is all about the past, but the question would be: if it is all about the past, is it every past? Is it everything that is in the past that we would consider as heritage? Then if that is the case, then it means everything that we know or that we hear or that we get about the past then becomes heritage. And I don't think that is the way to go. My take is it is the selective use of the past and bringing in an academic definition, maybe. It is the selective use of the past to meet the contemporary need. And the need could be either political, it could be either social or cultural. The need is in the now, so it becomes a construct. It's a social construct which involves the selection. There's a selection process. And the question is, who decides in that selection process what becomes heritage? I'll leave it there, then I'll come in later.
No, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Did you guys hear what he said? That heritage, what I really heard is it's quite personal also, because it's a selective past that you choose that makes a difference for you in the now, right? So then the question is, and you mentioned, you said social, political, cultural, right? So, and I mean, obviously, right, with identity, if I'm Tswana, right, the songs, the traditional practices, those would create identity within me, right? Exactly. So then the question is, how are we using heritage personally for yourselves? How are you using that to identify yourself, right? And what are you using from the past that you feel is still important right now, that needs to still be revived, right? I mean, for example, fees must fall is a conversation that we have every year, right? But where does that come from? What's the heritage of that, right? As many black freedom fighters, people were always in the streets rallying, chanting, marching for the right thing, right? And we've taken that fight, that fire, and it's relevant today because that's what happens. We stop classes and people are in the streets. You know, yes, sometimes it can get into riots and become a bit messy, but at the end of the day, the intent is for the good, right? So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to hear is, what are we taking from the past that we still use today that makes sense for us today, right? So that's my question for you personally. What heritage do you still identify with? What heritage do you identify with that plays an important role for you? Can we get the ma'am here? I believe you came with the children here, the high school. So I hope you understand my question, guys. I know we got deep real quick. And I see a lot of people are thinking and trying to process what I said, which is great, but I do like chitty-chatty. I want us to talk. All right. Hi, what's your name?
It's Numisa.
Gumisang.
Yes.
Pleased to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you. For me, it is storytelling. I grew up with our grandparents telling us insomi. We call it insomi or ngesiZulu inganekwane. And from those stories, we were taught principles and values. We learned kindness, we learned resilience through those stories, what it means to be kind, what it means to be part of a community, what it means to stand up for what is right and what you believe in. And another example, I was here with my learners, some of my learners again, a month ago, I think, and Kopano told a story of I remember quite well the character's name. I think it was Vusi about the June 16. And what my learners took out there was that the main character in the story was resilient. He stood up for what he believed in, and they kept on having a conversation about that. And that was sparked through storytelling. So I believe that that is one thing that as South Africans we should preserve, teaching younger people principles and values and everything that has to do with life through storytelling. Because when you tell a story, mostly we tell stories in languages that we understand. So if you speak to a man, I'm not sure if I'm going to quote it correctly, to a language that he understands, you speak to that, they hear you better than when you are teaching academics. For example, if we stand and say, be kind, it doesn't really stick. But if I tell a story that talks about kindness, there's people in the story, there's characters that someone may relate to, and now it makes more sense. They sit back and reflect and think about it more, and it makes it easier for them to practice their values and principles from the stories that are told. Thank you.
Thank you. You actually answered the question, because remember, it is personal. Heritage is personal, right? And you just said what heritage that resonates with you is storytelling, like you just said, right? If someone says be kind, okay, but now when we add life to it and characters and humans, then you can connect to it better, right? And like she said, Vusi was about resilience in the story Kopano shared a couple of weeks ago, right? And you probably connected with the idea and the belief of resilience because you saw his journey within a story. And that is true. Storytelling is definitely part of our heritage, right? That's how things were passed down, right? We didn't have Google or ChatGPT. We didn't have that, you know? Our granny told stories where there was around the fire before you went to sleep. That's how you knew what you needed to carry on, what you needed to remember so that that can be passed down, right? So thank you for answering the question, because what you basically said is your heritage comes from storytelling. And I think that's one of the biggest ones in African culture, because that's really where it all started, right? So, can somebody else give me another point where what is personal to them in terms of heritage? Go for it. Kopano? Oh, we have someone there. Lovely. What's your name?
Siolise.
Say that again.
Siolise.
Siolise.
Yes.
All right, pleased to meet you. Welcome.
I feel for me personally, I think it's the food and the songs. In my culture, as I am closer, I would say umngqusho, and the songs are like gwijo that we sing like all together, or when there's like a ceremony that's happening. And yeah, thank you very much.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. I love that
Yeah.
because, I mean, it's food, right? Right, we have to eat. And those recipes came from somebody and they were passed down to somebody else, right? And that's beautiful. And music, absolutely. Music is one of those, it's like storytelling, it's universal. You know? You don't even have to know what it's saying, but you can feel what it's saying. Right? So thank you so much for that. Okay. So, you know, with what Sir said earlier on about heritage being political, cultural, social, social also meaning identity, right? I would like to know, do you feel proud of your heritage? Because he did say that it's selective, right? You choose what makes sense and resonates with you. So I want to know, do you feel proud? And if you feel proud about your heritage, how do you show that? Or is it just more internal, right? I just wanted to say, we only wear cultural clothes on Heritage Day. You know, and I was telling somebody, I was like, I wish we could just dress like this all the time. Look at how beautiful we look. There are queens and kings walking around, looking colorful, proud about their identity, you know? And then the next day we come back wearing our shirts. You know, we bought at Mr. Price or something. So anyway, I saw a hand up there. The question was, are you proud of your heritage? And yes? Cool, tell me why.
Sanbonan, I'm very proud of my heritage, and I try by all means to articulate myself in Siswati so that I maintain the diversity and people know ukuthi ngimswati. And nelwimi lami nalo lijwayele kukhuluma Siswati. Thank you.
Okay, love. Now that's some pride right there. Can somebody else tell me something? Anything? Go for it. What's your name? Please stand up.
Hi everyone, I'm Kagiso.
Kagiso, welcome.
Yeah, so now there I go. So Nangi Motswana. So I love to, like she said, articulate my home language, which is Tswana, and also the most important thing for me is music and dance. I love to dance my cultural dance, which is Tswana, and also sing like the songs that I've heard from my grandparents and my parents, all of them. So yeah.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Kagiso. Is there anyone, and I'm not trying to really point it out, but is there anyone who doesn't feel proud? And it's, remember, when I'm talking about heritage, it's not the whole heritage. There's a selective part that maybe you're just not proud of, right? I'm sure you guys have heard of this law that just came in about women don't have to change their surnames, and the man can take the surnames. And people in the comments are like, well, is she going to pay Lobola? You know? And I mean, again, right? Like, heritage was the man takes the surname, Lobola happens, there's customs and tradition that take place, right? And now the story is being shaped in a different narrative, right? Is that something people are proud of? Because that is becoming our heritage, becomes part of our culture, right? Because we're moving into these new eras of movement. Everything is a movement. What? What would you like to say? Guys, I feel like I'm talking too much. I'll need more interaction here.
Quite interesting with you weighing in this introduction of the new proposed bill. I don't know whether it has been enacted. I think it's still a bill, eh?
Okay, okay.
It's still a bill. It hasn't been enacted.
All right.
I think it's It is at proposal stage, and people are engaging in a discourse about it. But I want to say, then that drives us to this thinking that heritage becomes a social construct. It's constructed. And if it is a construct, it can still be deconstructed to construct something new, or it can be evolved, or it can be rejuvenated, or it can be negotiated. Much as culture, we say culture is not static, right? So, and again, moving from the issue of it being personal, let's maybe weigh in the issue of group heritage. I want to make it a bit complicated, let's say, let's go back to Roads Must Fall.
Yes.
The student,
Fees Must Fall.
Fees Must Fall.
Yes.
Yeah. Fees Must Fall revolved around a heritage resource, an object, which is the Rhodes statue. You see, so Rhodes statue, or the statue itself, Paul Kruger statue as it is, it's a construct. But it is said it's heritage, isn't it? But heritage is not what we see. It's not that object, right? It's not that structure. It's not that statue. It is what is behind that statue, what it represents. And the attack to Rhodes statue was not the statue itself. It was what the statue represents. The whiteness, the privilege that goes with that population group, the white. So I'm bringing it to this thinking that heritage, it is a construct, because behind that statue of Rhodes, there's an ideology that was constructed which advantaged, or which put certain population group in an advantage. I don't know. I think I'm becoming complicated.
Are you guys following? Are we okay?
Yeah.
It's a good train.
Yeah.
So I just need everyone to make sure that they're there. Yeah.
So that can be a group heritage, but it was constructed to memorialize somebody, and you construct it as a heritage for a particular a population, or not population, but group or community. And like we said, it is personal. But here it's not personal, but it's a group heritage. But at the same time, that very same heritage, would you say it's a heritage?
No, I personally wouldn't identify that.
Would you say Paul Kruger statue is your heritage? Would you say?
Kagiso wants to say something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kagiso?
Just wanted to add to what he's basically saying. So I was reading an article yesterday for my research. So the author defined something like foundation myths. So heritage is associated with foundation myth. It depends on like the ideologies that are behind. Like it's like whose idea is best, like to represent the heritage. So for example, the author mentioned, for example, Pretoria as a whole, like the people who, there's a foundation myth that the people who founded South Africa are the Europeans, the Westerns. So the person who fought for the Blood River War was Andries Pretorius. That's when like the town was named Pretoria. So some of our heritage is being defined by people who are no longer here, who just came and like play a guessing game on what to name this or call this. Then we carried that from there. And the question is that really our heritage, or we heard it from someone else or from someone's idea? So yeah.
Exactly. All right, we have someone else who'd love to speak.
Thank you. I'm going to go back to your question where you asked what are we not proud of in our heritage. For me, it's the cultural norms. We have evolved as a nation. We have advanced. However, there's still cultural norms that are practiced, and yet some have changed. Just to give an example, growing up at an early age, it was mostly men who were working providers. And if you look into our history, that's what we learn. Men were providers, women at home, and there were cultural norms, I would say cultural practices that now women had to adhere to as they are stationed at home, looking after the children and the family as a whole. Things have changed. Women are working. However, as women are now working, also being part of those who provide for families, there's still other practices that culture doesn't want to actually change and evolve as we are evolving. You are expected to, as a woman, to do all the other things that women are expected to do in culturally so, and yet we are now also doing what was expected of men culturally. So why can't it all evolve at the same time? Certain things be changed as things are changing. We can't run away from that fact that things are changing. We find women in the cities now, especially black women, which was something that was not happening before. We find women in the offices, managerial positions, which was something that was not there before. Why are we not evolving in every aspect of culture as it has happened? Again, another one is the Lobola one. You mentioned it. Looking at Lobola, for me, it's a culture, it's a cultural practice. However, for me, I've looked at it and see it as something that also promotes gender-based violence. Multiple times I've heard men say, I paid for her. I've heard men say, even family, even women would say, simlobolile, so she cannot do as she please. I've heard women say, I had to resign at work because it was actually contradicting with my culture. As now I'm married in Locholiwe, I have to be at my in-laws. There's a lot of things. You find a woman because Locholiwe, it's a holiday. You can't rest like everyone in the family. You must come from work and tend to the family in your exhaustion because ulocholiwe. Men lay hands on women because I paid for her. Why can't we change those things? Because times have changed, and we can see that some of them, they contribute to what actually is a problem. I would say a pandemic to our society. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Yes. Okay.
I need to respond to that.
Go for it. Go for it.
I think, yeah, I'm going back to social construction aspect of heritage. I do understand what the previous speaker has weighed in terms of the negative aspect that are attached to Lobola. But you would find that the original idea behind it was positive. You will find instance of abuse of that particular Lobola system. Maybe we need to go further and ask ourselves, what was Lobola meant for? And what is the idea behind Lobola? And what does Lobola mean? Because then you will have multiple interpretations, and one interpretation will be that of an abusive interpretation of Lobola. What he's saying is an abusive interpretation of Lobola. And I don't agree.
Okay.
Because it doesn't mean, because that's what I'm saying, you find a situation where people interpret it differently. Lobola, originally, you might find that it was used to extend friendship between the families. Not to say, I'm paying, and therefore, because, not to say I'm commodifying the person that is being married, or not to say we are commodifying the person that is being married. Then it becomes a problem when you commodify, and that becomes abusive. But maybe let's find out let's go back to the question. What was the idea or the rationale behind Lobola?
Okay, you heard the question. What do you guys, and I really want to hear from the young people here. How do you guys understand Lobola? Do you identify with it? Do you see yourself when you get married? It's going to make sense. I'm seeing you saying no. I want to hear what your brain is saying though. Come, please. What's your name? Shazmin. Welcome. Why are you shaking your head? Don't be afraid. We're here. We're a big family, right? Okay, we want to hear what you have to say. It's a safe space.
What was the question?
So the question was, I asked you, do you identify with Lobola? When you girls get married, do you see that naturally happening? That's what you expected to do. But even if it's an expectation, do you identify with it? Does it make sense? Because what he said about what she said is that's the abusive point of view of how to see it, right? And then he's showing the good point, I guess, where it originated from this friendship between families, right? So now, but the question really is, does it make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Also, that goes to the men, and I also want to hear what you guys think about that. Yeah,
Yes, it does.
it makes sense.
Yes.
So you see yourself going through those traditions because is it because it's something you believe in? Is it because it's just always been there, so you kind of have to do it?
It's because it's been part of the culture.
Yes. Okay, so it makes you close and gives you identity, or you're just doing it because you have to do it, like because there's uncles like him who are going to say, hey, you know what, like, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, does anyone have, yeah, David, right? Cool. Oh, sorry, go for it, please, thanks. What's your name?
Unati.
Unati, welcome. Go for it.
I wouldn't like the idea of being Lobola because I don't feel like I wanted to be sold off to other people. You see, being Lobola like money, cows and stuff. I don't like that idea. And also, the other thing of like them treating you badly in the marriage, like the other family. Like I've heard that you wake up at 4 a.m., make tea for people who won't drink it, and I wouldn't like that because they are basically physically and mentally abusing me, and that would mess me up, and I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
Beautiful, thank you for that. All right, we have somebody at the back there. Oh, sorry, yes, David, we'll come back to you now. Is that fine? What's your name?
My name is Tiamo.
Tiamo.
Yes.
Welcome, thanks for standing up. Awesome.
I think Lobola makes sense because it's a way of saying thank you for giving me the blessing of your daughter.
Wow, okay.
It's a way of like, I'm saying thank you to you because you are giving me your daughter. So Lobola is like, I'm taking your daughter away from the family because she's gonna take my surname. Yes. So that's the proper idea behind Lobola. So like, yeah.
So for you, it's a thank you.
Yes, it's a thank you.
I'm getting a gift.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So what happens if she doesn't take your surname? I don't really want to have a conversation with you there. You're saying thank you, but what happens if she doesn't take your surname? Is it a problem?
Yes, for me it is. For
Why?
Me it is. Because it's culture. It's been there.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that it's wrong, but it is wrong in a way. If it makes sense. If it makes sense.
All right. I'm sure you guys heard him. David, thank you so much, by the way. Yeah?
There's a hand there. I just wanted to give the Lance a chance to say, oh, para.
Wait, is there another hand? I didn't see it. Oh, yes. Thank you, guys. Someone got the coffee. Or did I just say something that resonates, guys? Thank you. Let's go.
Greetings. I am Vitumelo.
Hi, Vitumelo. Welcome.
I just wanted to say that it feels right for your husband to pay your lobola because that's what we were told to believe. And from a young age, we know, oh, the husband is going to pay lobola, we want to be paid for, because we were told it's a good thing, and that's why we feel like it's a good thing. But looking at a broader aspect, it kind of encourages the idea that women are objects and can be sold. That women are something that is like, you can buy it, and then now it's mine.
Yes.
And then now women are deemed as lower than a man, because now the man paid for the woman, now the woman must do whatever the man wants, because he paid for her.
Ooh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I really would love you to say something, because I've been looking at your face and you're like, So I really want to hear what you have to say. Go for it.
Okay. I've heard really interesting stuff from the learners. So just to add on that, I mean, I'm from a black family, and we can't shy away from the fact that some of our families are from poor backgrounds. So looking at you as a female going to school, it's more or less that they are trying to monetize you to just do the things that they always wanted to do in the family or in the house. So that's when you go into school and graduate and all those stuff, and someone wants to come and marry you, they just put a price on you to say, she went to school, she does that, she went there, she can do this, she can do that. And then in a sense, with the little knowledge that I have that happens in the Lobola negotiations, I believe those are some of the things that they mention as a cow to say, she went to school. So it's more like, now I'm paying for her education, which means her education needs to come to my family to work for it. I mean, I'm not saying like that, but I think the notion of, I think the notion of gender-based violence or violating or abusing some of the aspects that the woman might come with into the house to say, but they said you are a hard worker, you can cook, you can do that, you can do that, and I paid for that. Now it's more or less that the man can expect those things after you've came from work to say, come, I've paid for you to work. Those are the things that the price. I mean, it might spark something in me because I'm not considered as someone who works. I mean, they can say she went to university, but I also went to university. Who's paying for my thing? You get? So, I mean, those are the things that, from my little knowledge that I have, I believe those are some of the things that leads to that anger in men to say, this is that, and then I have, because I paid for those things. It's more like services, as Tumelo said, that I paid for you, then bring whatever that I paid for. I deserve that. It's just that we don't have a receipt. And another thing is,
the receipt is your surname, I'm guessing.
but now things changed. Table changed. I mean, she can say no to my surname and say, you take mine, and all those stuff. So another thing that I believe it's an heritage that, but I believe that the media is trying to fight it. We used to have a trend of Indota Mast and Monna Gevene, all those stuff. Those are the heritage, because I can tell my younger boy to say, I mean, brah, you need to get yourself a van because Monna Gevene and stuff like that. And then he get himself a van, and then he passed that to the next generation. I mean, again, heritage, it's up to us to, hence, said, it's selective. It's up to us again to just choose what to pass to the next generation. It's up to us what to or how to do it to the next generation. Hence, now we've seen that monetizing lobolas and stuff like that, commodifying it leads up to such things like that. So we now maybe trying, maybe as me teaching my younger boy or teaching my the generation that I'll bring to life to say, do not do that. I mean, lobola is just you thanking the people or the family to say thank you. I think in Zulu says imbalentle what Kaspedi bar se khosa metsi and all those stuff. So it's more like we are creating a relationship. So in other cultures like I think it's Indians or what, you just have to be from a man how much you want to give it or whatever that you want to give to the family and they receive it. It's not about them telling you how much you need to give it to them. So yeah.
All right, thank you.
Hi, everyone.
I just want to just say, I'm sorry, just before you start. It sounds like the general consensus here is that Lobola makes it feel that women are being objectified.
Yeah.
And then, because of that, it gives men power to almost do whatever they want, I guess. I mean, obviously, we always say it's not all men, but again, like you're saying, it's the idea itself. Yes, it's supposed to be thank you, but the idea changes something. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure, is that what we're hearing? This is how we're feeling right now. Okay, cool. Go for it.
Hi everyone. My name is Alicia, and
Hi, Alicia. Welcome.
Thank you. From what I have observed is most of the people that are talking now or like giving their opinions are children that are still in school, meaning they haven't experienced Lobola themselves, but they have seen what it has done to other women. So I think heritage now becomes a problem when people are experiencing it in a bad way. So maybe we should go back to our roots and find out what Lobola means, because I feel like then that is like constantly being lost along the way of what it means. Because I have seen that, and I have probably experienced it through other people, but I decided to basically give it my own meaning, right, of what Lobola means between two people. And I believe it basically starts between you and your partner, not what your family says, because then that is not what you have selected. They mentioned that heritage is selective, but it looks like it's what people select for us, not what we select. So that's the problem. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So to me, basically, it will just be my partner showing appreciation that my family raised a good woman for him, right? And with the same thing, I feel like that also starts between the two people. Do they decide to, does the woman decide to basically take the same name before? I think the conversation starts before that, not that people should decide that you should basically take the same name. You guys should decide. So Lobola is what you make it, not what other people should make it for you. So it's selective. You select it, not other people. I think we should start, stop adopting what people are saying heritage is to us and start basically creating meaning for ourselves. So what is heritage to you as a person? Because another thing is it's not selected. From my family side, we are basically given animal names. So my name is Tlou, and I believe it's a beautiful name, but that's something someone selected for me, not the other way around. So it's my choice to either go forward and basically give my kids animal names or not. So it's what I select as a human being, not what someone selects for me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Can I ask you a question before?
Yeah, I like speaking after someone, just so that we make sure we all heard it, we were all on the same page, we all understood what she said. So essentially what you're saying is take your heritage and reshape it to make sense for you. All right, go for it.
Okay, my question is, it's just like bending me while I'm sitting down, is going forward, I mean, as the younger generation now, going forward, is it important for us to still identify with, I know, with the surnames that we have given or we have obtained from our parents or from the generation? Because now things change, right? When I'm a boy, at home they just like want me to grow the surname. But now things change because I can take the female surname, which means I'm growing the other, them female, because yes.
Their legacy, their...
My question is it important? Because I believe some of us, I mean, we are Petersons, we are all those. We don't know even where is the surname coming from. We can get narratives but we don't get that. I mean, I'm growing Peterson, but I don't know who is Peterson or how it started. Going forward, I'm just like questioning this to everyone in the room, that do you think it turns out to be more important again to continue with identifying ourselves with the surnames? Thank you.
All right. We have Ms. Thandi at the back there who would like to say something.
Yeah, boy. Phew. Suddenly the discussion just went Yeah, it's becoming very deep and hot. But I noted a few things, eh?
Yes.
And I'm only speaking, I wanted to keep quiet and not speak at all. But when we're speaking about heritage,
Keep your mic here, please.
and the topic flows so much towards the issues of marriage. So we can see family life is a topic that we need to be able to sit down and talk about and discuss. But just a few pointers that I noted was that language is also one subject that we need to look at and explore as heritage, because loss of language has clearly led us to situations like this, where we gather and we have young women, young men who are debating one aspect of marriage, outside of ourselves. Who decided what is Lobola for us? Can we also explore some of these things so that we don't, we pick and choose? When we talk about Lobola, for instance, we are focusing so much on what people call paying for a bride. I'm an African woman, I'm a mother, I'm a wife. I got married ngesintu. So I would like to speak as that, because I think one of the saddest things is that we are having this discussion with young women and we don't have in this space enough elders to speak on this. A lot of the...
And give context, yes.
Give proper context, because a lot
Yeah.
of the fears, I think, also coming from what we see on social media, what we hear people discussing. Ilobolo is only one small aspect of ukwenda, okanye ukwendiselana, or marriage. And lobolo does not begin and end with what families are giving it to each other. Today, we've lost so much about our language that we only pick and choose what we've heard about. We discuss things about ourselves from not knowing and having no context. I noted that we don't touch on colonization and how much even marriage itself for us has been colonized. Our identity was colonized as a people. Rites of passage, we need to have these conversations, because when there's no place where I have ever, as an African, heard about Lobola being a thank you, for instance. Lobola does not only, what we are calling Lobola, that part of cows and whatever came between the families, we must look at marriage from where it starts. That when we marry, we also expect children, for instance, right? And one of the things that happened is that when children are born, the wife often gives birth from her family side, right? And there are rituals that are done. So some of these animals that we talked about, which were not only cows, they would include goats as well. Things, many things that, people will exchange. Kuko izinto, for instance, ekuthiwa ngumembeso. We don't talk about those things. Those things are other steps that are involved when marriage happens. So for me, I think this is a topic that we should open. It would be better discussed when we have elders that can give context, historical value. Our life did not begin with the colonization, apartheid, and slavery. Who were we? How did we practice marriage? Just about our identity. Language itself is a central part of our heritage that we have lost, and you can see in how we discuss our things, how we debate our issues, how when we talk about marriage, so many of us are scared because marriage has become this...
Yeah, there's a negative connotation to it.
Negative connotation.
Yes.
It's like that with so many of our cultures. So I just wanted to say, perhaps let's find a way of engaging on heritage, and note today that we do need to have a conversation specifically on what is marriage, and what people like Bishop Stone did. Was 8 cows or 13 cows or 11 cows, was this what Africans set and agreed upon? Or are we aware that even what we are referring to today, these are some of the things that did not come from our people? it's just from that I just want to end with the fact that Lobola is not cows being exchanged. There's a lot that happens. It's a long process. It includes nabo zaku zaku, people that engage in interacting between the two families to explore whether marriage should happen between the two people that are being discussed. It's not, Lobola is not the end and all and be of what marriage is.
Thank you. You know, going back to our theme, heritage in our hands, and this is mostly a youth-based conversation, I think it is very important to have someone who is an elder who can give us a bit more context, you know, give it weight, because again, going back to storytelling, right? And how heritage has always been passed through. How much of our heritage do we know that has become this negative connotation to it? And I think that really says a lot, you know? She said something saying that heritage is also your language, right? I mean, I teach drama to kids, right? To build their confidence, to be able to speak like this in front of people. And not just because you're going to be on stage, but because there'll be times when you're in a board meeting or whatever it is where you need to speak to people, right? But going back to language, and my kids, a lot of my kids cannot speak their home language. And I don't know how it is with you guys. I remember growing up always saying this, feel like I'm getting whitewashed, you know, like, and again, going back to the clothes and Heritage Day and saying, I wish we could all dress the way we do when we go to weddings and celebrations and all of that, right? And colonization. How much of that has stolen away from what makes us proud of who we are? I think also, you know what, with heritage, it's so diverse. I mean, we've been talking about just like she said, a small aspect of marriage, which is Lobola. And we've been talking about this for how long right now? About 30, 45 minutes? You know, and I think honestly, this is why we're here today, is because we could be talking for hours, for years, because there is so much to talk about. Anyway, so I think you were talking about a trend earlier on, about, you know, man is the van and everything. And again, that brings me now to social media, because we're more connected than ever, right? We're in a global network because of how fast news passes around, right? So there's two questions that I'm going to pose to you guys right now and saying, number one, like you were mentioning about the animal names. Number one, what heritage, when you girls grow up, get married or not, or have kids, or whatever it really is, but the question is, what heritage are you guys, would you want to pass to the next generation? Whether it's social, remember heritage is so big and broad and has a big spectrum to it. What is something that you're proud of that you definitely want to pass on to the next generation? That's number one. But number two, again, going back to trends and, you know, social media. And in the beginning, when I asked what heritage was, everyone said that we should preserve it, right? How do we then still promote it within this technological world and make sure that things like Lobola don't have this negative connotation, where people like our elders could be giving us a better understanding of what our history and our culture means? Because I don't think people are that interested in, you know, preserving and keeping it alive through social media, you know? Sounds like something that wouldn't get enough likes. Right? So anyway, so yeah, my first question. Anyone, right? What part of your heritage would you definitely want to pass on to the next generation that you're so proud of? Yes.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. I think we've touched on it, but I think one of the most important things is language.
It is language.
Because, yeah, language is sort of, it is your identity. So that's something you need to pass on to the next generation. Because we are living in a world where, I think because of globalization, we're losing our mother tongue language. In fact, it's a paper that I'm trying to write now about mother tongue language and the importance of that. So I think that's something that we need to pass on. It's keeping our mother tongue alive and making sure that we can pass on to the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice. All right, University of Venda, guys, I haven't heard anything from you. Can someone represent? There you go. Woo! Give him a round of applause. All right.
Thank you.
Hi, what's your name?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tiko Chifango from Univen.
Tico, welcome.
I think what was the question again? The heritage that I should.
Yes.
I feel like,
yes. What would you want to pass down?
I think the one that I feel like it is necessary for me to pass on relates to social and behavior. How we should ubuntu, how we should treat each other and our elders, humbleness. I think that is what is very much important and we can't afford to lose. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love language. You know, sometimes it makes me sad that I'm not as fluent in reading Tswana. You know, it's one of those things that make me embarrassed, saying, yeah, I'm Tswana, but how Tswana am I? You know? And that's true. I mean, if the language dies, what happens? What's the next thing to die? And the next thing to die? Yes. The mic?
When the language dies, we also die. You mentioned that we are more connected now, but are we really connected? Everything, I think it stems from us knowing our language. From the language, you know, you learn how to carry yourself as a girl, as a woman, and as a mother, so on and so forth. So when the language dies, we also die. We lose ourselves, we lose everything, our heritage, and it's just really sad because we're supposed to be the custodians of our heritage. Thank you.
Okay, yes, Alvi.
Yeah, I'm just going to add a little bit of spice to say that another thing that we should learn to pass down is slaughtering. I don't know, I'm looking at the men in the room. I don't know how many of you have got that skill, but it's something that, that we need to learn. I know in my family it's a select few that do it, but I've tried to learn, so it's something that I would love to pass on to my son and so on and so forth. As Mrs. Khomos is looking at me. But yeah, it's something that I'm challenging everyone. Even for a woman, there's also customs and traditions there when it comes to slaughtering, that the woman plays a role. So maybe it's something that we can look forward to passing on to the next generation. Thank you.
No, sorry, wait, I'm going to bounce that back to you. Slaughtering. Why slaughtering? What does it mean to you?
Well, it depends. It's a celebration. Obviously, when your funerals and so on, there is that element there. But if it's a pabadim, you know, you want to thank your ancestors for something, or if your firstborn son is born, then there is that slaughtering that takes place in that time. And then you can go to abattoir if that's how you roll, but it is important to do it in your traditional homestead, and and then speak to your ancestors and pay tribute in that way. So it's something that obviously many of us are now growing up in the cities. I'm not sure how relevant it is, but it's definitely something that is part of our culture, something that is part of our heritage, and it's something that we should definitely pass on to the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Someone from the University of Venda wants to speak. Do not forget what you want to say, please.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, what's your name?
Okay, my name is Dembe.
Dembe, welcome.
One thing that I would like to pass on to the next generation is like storytelling. So, as she said, it includes the morality, resilience, and taboos that guide us in our day-to-day life. So I think it also depends on us, how we pose the story to the next generation. Because, for example, if I put this water bottle in a deep freeze,
yes,
it's going to take the shape of this bottle, right?
Yes.
So, if this is how I want it, it means that I will put in this water bottle. But if I pour it in this thing, it means
Yes.
that the next generation is going to receive different information. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Love it. Ms. Tandi's going to speak and then I'll give it to you, okay?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think rites of passage, when they die, we die. We lose language, we lose ourselves. Rites of passage help us or guide us on navigation of life. Whether you're a girl, a boy, a man, a woman, throughout your life, we have rites of passage that engage you based on where you are, your age mates. You know, it also brings that whole, it takes a village to raise a child. We find today mothers are so exhausted. Someone said, you know, you are Lobola and then you go to work and you come home and you have to be a wife and you have duties and so on. And I think rites of passage will also decolonize our minds. They will bring us to a point where we even understand how to navigate relationships. You know, I don't want to say that word. I often.
Can you just elaborate a little bit? What do you mean by rites of passage?
Rites of passage.
Is it going to the mountain? What are you talking about?
It's not just that. Let me make for an example, as a girl, when I was growing up, we had what they call in Nguni languages, amaqhikiza. These are older girls that would be our friends. They take on girls younger than them. They guide them through. Your mother doesn't have to be the one that's teaching you everything. In life. This is why one of the reasons mothers are so exhausted today is that they take on the role of parenting on their own. And this, I'm not meaning absent father, you know, situations that we talk about so much, but I'm talking about the fact that hunali bomangwani, hunali rahadi,
the use of community and family.
Yes, all these people, they have roles that they play in your life at some point when you get your first period. We Google today and we read, you know, what it says. But there are so many elements about your period that you learn from older girls, older women, and you know, so rites of passage involve you from birth till you die, how to navigate life. Amaqhikiza, as I mentioned before, these are girls that would also be involved in helping you as a younger woman when you start to interact with boys. There are rules, rules of engagement that they would also have learned from the elders. So it brings a certain looking forward to certain things. Rites of passage can also assist us in addressing things like teenage pregnancy, because mothers are failing, unable to give. And when I say, maybe let me correct the way the English, but I mean the fact that when you are surrounded by different age groups of elders, older sisters, mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, as it used to be, speaking the same language, going through the same rites of passages, you learn so much about yourself, your body. You know what we learn in school, my body teaches us which body parts you have, but how to engage based on the fact that I have breasts. I don't have breasts. I'm a girl, I'm a boy. These are things that we are navigating through. Today, you'll find on social media people talking about how mujolo wa dontoni, whereas you didn't have this in those days where people didn't have cell phones, didn't have, all these social apps and this and that, but community engagement, rites of passage that gave you a sense of identity, self-worth, a sense of belonging, when you know that there are other people going through the same things that I'm going through, and also that sense of secrecy from the different age groups. You can't wait to learn what they're learning about over there, but you don't engage it with it because you're also engaged from where you are at that point. So I think rites of passage do give us a sense of a place to learn, to grow, and a place to belong.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome. You wanted to say something, right? Could we just finish off with you and then... oh, yes. Good. Please. Thank you. Go for it.
Okay, I think Mama mentioned most of the things that I wanted to say. One thing that I would like to pass on to, like, come in the next generation is like going to initiation schools, right? There, everything basically happens there. You get a chance to learn how to slaughter a cow or a goat. You get a chance to know when you have flu, which leaf of tree you must take and to relieve that flu. Like, the initiation schools basically teaches you like about your culture, I can say. So initiation schools are the best place.
Random question. Is it still relevant? Why would you still want to learn something when you can just go to the pharmacy and get painkillers?
That's the problem now. That's where you forget about your culture, where you come from. The same medicine that you get from the pharmacy, like I like to make an example on the Khoisan people.
Okay.
Those people, they are living their life. They are still living. They are practicing their customs, and they are known as the best people. Like when it comes to medicine, like they are good when it comes to medicine. So even us, like we had pharmacies, like the places that we live around, like the landscape that we live around. It's a pharmacy itself. There are leaves and plants that can heal you. That's why I'm saying you tend to learn like a lot of skills that you can like pass on. Maybe, who knows, you can open your own traditional pharmacy next day. So you tend to learn those skills and to make something out of it. So,
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Give him a round of applause, everybody. Yes, go for it.
I feel like something that we are all forgetting is that your hair can be your heritage. Personally, let me speak about my hair.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me speak about my hair.
Yeah.
I share a spiritual bond with my hair. Have you ever asked yourself why at funerals people cut their hair when someone dies? I still ask myself that question. Well, no one has ever answered me. But as I was saying, it has a spiritual meaning to us, a deep connection to us, to the point when you detach yourself from your hair, it feels like a new beginning in your life when people cut their hairs. So basically what I'm trying to say is that your hair can be your heritage, and we should also acknowledge that it can be your heritage.
Thank you for that. I was told by somebody you'll be chitty chatty, but it's great. I love it. Thank you so much. Go for it.
Another thing that I want to touch on, which is important to me,
yes,
is the setting.
Is
the setting?
Yeah.
So now we are in Gauteng. I just wanna quote on what Mama said. She said it in the language I don't know, but where she's mentioned on the females grooming the younger ones, right? So now we are in a setting whereby my neighbor might be an Indian. You understand that? Might be Tswana, Pedis. We are not longer in that space whereby we say this is Tswana people and then they can take each other to initiation school. Now in initiation school, people that are running the initiation school, you find that one of them, the head in the initiation school is a Tsonga person. Then the other people that are assisting with teachings are from KZN, different place. The teachings are different. Conflict starts there. And another thing is we are lacking answers. As she said now that The hair thing. Why are we cutting our hair? She's now still in question. We are a curious generation. We question everything. When you tell me do not cut your nails at night, I want to know why. Consequences. When you say do not cut your hair at night, do not look at yourself in the mirror at night, do not borrow salt at night, do not do this and this and this, and I want to know why. Because if I don't, then it just makes me that, why? You know, why should I do it like that way? So that's when we lose our heritage. That's where things change. And then if those people that were enforcing that to me to say, do not do this, and when they die, it means whatever that the teachings that they wanted me to inherit, I'm not gonna take it because I don't know why. Why would I teach my son, my little girl that do not do that without me knowing why? That's the thing. And we are lacking men. Like, we are lacking. Some of them are there. We know where they are. Some of them are just accommodated there by the Koshimampuro. So who am I going to be teaching to slaughter? What if I'm having all females? Then it means the slaughtering thing, it's going to be within me because at some point, Barikisila, when a female does maybe something that was supposed to be done by a man. So all those stuff. So I think, again, the thing that draws us back or maybe takes us out of the culture, it's the space that we are in. I mean, they can teach me petty things and then I follow them and then I'm meet dominant Zulu people, dominant Xhosa people. I mean, I might change and then do as they do because I want to feed. Yeah.
She wanted to say something. Hi, welcome to the conversation.
Okay, so hello everyone. So my name is Bonolo.
Bonolo, welcome.
And I'll just like to add on to what David said. For me, I just have, I won't say it's a problem, but I just have this thing with elders, basically. I feel like most elders, they don't really understand what heritage is or whatever they're passing down to the next generation, what it means. So I feel like that's where we lose context and what actually that thing actually means, because then, like David said, we're a very curious generation. Like I always ask my grandmother, she knows. I don't know if you guys have this thing in your families where at least on the first Monday after Easter, right? In our family, or at least where I'm from, Tembisa, we'll go to the graveside to just pay our respects and everything. And so I remember I asked my grandmother why we do that, because I just didn't understand it. It's just like, it's something that we've always done. Like, okay, but it doesn't really answer my question as to why we're doing it. So I feel like that's where we lose context and like meaning of things, is because most elders don't really understand why they're doing those things. They just followed it without questioning or anything. So yeah, that's just all.
Okay. Beautiful, guys. Thank you. You wanna?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think also adding to that setting, I've realized that, well, I left home, the village, I think in grade 1. So I think heritage is being lost in the city, I think, because there is a way of greeting at home that we do as kids, or how you do things like greeting, like you clap your hands and you kneel sort of if you're passing down the road. When you see an elder, you greet. But nowadays, there's no such happening. I can meet my lecturer in the elevator and I'm not going to say anything. We just, take the journey up and that's and that's it. So I feel like it is being lost. And also what she's saying is that even the people that are passing down the heritage don't know what it means. So they're just saying, this is what you're supposed to do, but they don't know why you're supposed to do that. So we are also asking ourselves, why should we follow something we don't understand?
So then my last question then is, and it's really a yes or no question, or I just want to finish it up, but do you think we were failed? Were we failed by the previous generation? And the generation before that, were they failed? Because they weren't either curious enough or nor did they understand why they do the things they do. And somehow, somewhere, knowledge and heritage and everything got confused. Is that how we all feeling here? Tandi? Yes, ma'am. Can we, okay, yes, can you please pass it to her before that? Yeah? Because, yes?
I would say yes and no.
Okay.
Yes. Why am I saying yes and no? I believe that they took what they were taught. For example, I grew up where you had to not ask any questions. If your mom or dad says no, it's a no. You don't ask why. Because if you ask why, in most cases, it ended up in a beating. Why are you questioning? And when it comes to cultural, traditional customs as well, we did not ask. We had our hair cut after the funeral. Sometimes you have your nice hair, you had a beautiful hairstyle. The next morning or the day after the funeral, it has to be cut off. We had to be bathed in telezi as well, which can be quite itchy. When you ask why, no answers. You just have to do it. And we got to a point where we did not ask. Now, with our parents, our great parents, they also went through the same thing of not asking why. Some of them, I would like to believe they are actually practicing these things, not understanding as well why are they doing them. Did they fail us? We can say yes by not asking. At the same time, they were taught not to ask. So they followed that because, again, we were taught that you follow what your elders say without questioning. So they did that out of respect of their elders. Just to give an example, when I had my first child, I asked indaba yembeleko because you have to slaughter a sheep. Then I went to my grandmother and I asked her, what is the idea behind imbeleko? And when my grandmother narrated the whole thing, where does imbeleko come from? And I realized that we have a distorted idea of imbeleko now. She told me that imbeleko had to do with getting something to clothe the baby with. So they slaughter the sheep so that the child can have its own blanket. That was back then. That's where it comes from. And now we are doing imbeleko as part of introducing it's mainly on we are introducing the child to the ancestors. Apparently there were midwives that would come when a woman is giving birth. So they had to eat. And that was done 7 days after the child is born. When do we do it now? 25-year-old men will come back and say, and it was something done 7 days because they believe that after 7 days, the child now, they can announce the birth of the child, they can give the child a name. Now, the women that were there to assist can go back home. The child is healthy, the child will live. The child has lasted for 7 days. So then they do imbeleko. But in our day and time, if I'm having problems, I'm going to start trying to find out, did they do imbeleko for me? Let me go back and do imbeleko. Probably that's why I'm not getting employed. Probably that's why my marriage is not working out. Probably that's why this child is delinquent at the age of 18 against Elwang imbeleko. So knowing why was something done, now I've come to know that it is important to know why are we doing this, and it will eradicate as well the misconceptions around our culture, and it will also help us preserve culture that is nation building, that is not destroying our nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just, again, so the question is a yes or no, because like you said, I asked did they fail us, and you said yes or no. But ultimately, it sounds like a big yes, because not only has, and I mean, like culture is supposed to evolve and change. That's natural, right? But it being distorted to the point where it no longer even means what it meant, that's also a different situation, right? But anyway, Mama Tandi, what would you like to say?
I would like to say to that question, did our elders fail us? We have to see ourselves for who and what we are. We cannot see ourselves and not look at the past. Marcus Garvey teaches us that a people without the knowledge of their history, their past, are like a tree without roots. We have to go back in order for us to be able to go to the future. And going back, I don't mean we have to go back and eat and dress the way they were doing in the 1600s. If it helps, yes. But the point is that we are people that were taken away from self systematically. We have to acknowledge that. and that our elders, some of them, because of the colonization, and I remember a time when going to school, some of us would be punished if you were caught at school speaking Chivenda, Sisotho, isiZulu. So we cannot forget that those things actually have happened in our lifetime. So how do people who don't know themselves fail? Because they were also a generation that was also growing up in a context where African culture, language has been suppressed and oppressed. So we have to start looking at how are we going, instead of looking for blame, how to reconnect ourselves so that we can move forward, knowing, being able to separate what is actually ours and what is not ours, so we can recognize that. Also, in Chivenda, there's a saying, "Tohon tsu ialaya toho chena." Black hair, which represents youth, can also guide gray heads, which represents the elders. So today, because of books that talk about history beyond colonization, today, because of places like Freedom Park, where we date back our storytelling 3.6 billion years, we have these spaces where we can learn about ourselves and separate what was not ours, so that we don't spend too much time looking at what we did to each other wrong. When you are a loss, we go through a situation where I see, said, God to take